lost civil wars. In this chaotic period, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has led India for over a decade. He has offered stability, vision and direction. The longevity itself is a major achievement, especially in a crowded electoral democracy like ours. As he celebrates his 75th birthday, we are looking back at his tenure and his policies, specifically his foreign policy. The Prime Minister has a distinct style of conducting diplomacy. It's not just about visiting, it's about building bridges. It's not just about talks, it's about building trust. So what exactly are the major tenets of this approach? Let's decode the Modi doctrine.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा।
With Prime Minister Modi, we firmly believe that India and France are two great powers.
At home, world leaders are judged on their domestic policies. Have they delivered for their people or not? But abroad, the world judges leaders on their foreign policy. Did they leave the world a better place than they found it? In Prime Minister Narendra Modi's case, the answer is clear. His foreign policy has mixed restraint, maturity, and a willingness to help. We have split this approach into 5 different facets. Number 1 is multi-alignment. Think of it as being friends with everyone. Under Prime Minister Modi, India has mastered this strategy. India has strategic partnerships with the US and Russia, India rekindling its ties with China. It is a trusted partner of Arab Gulf states, and it is expanding its footprint in the Pacific. How many countries can boast of such diverse ties? Just consider the events of this year. In June, Prime Minister Modi visited Canada for the G7 summit, an exclusive gathering of Western democracies. Then, in July, he visited Brazil for the BRICS summit, and the BRICS, as you know, is seen as a rival to the G7. Then in August, he visited China for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is a Eurasian security bloc. 3 months, 3 different summits. And don't mistake this for ideological multi-alignment. This is not about ideology at all. This is about putting Indian interests first.
विदेश नीति को ये सारे एग्रेसिव और प्रोग्रेसिव और प्रोएक्टिव इन शब्दों की जरूरत नहीं है। एक्चुअली विदेश नीति देश हित की नीति होती है। इंडिया फर्स्ट, बस उसका सेंटर पॉइंट यही है, इंडिया फर्स्ट।
Sometimes Indian interests are served by the G7 countries. Sometimes they are served by the BRICS. So the idea is to have options. Next is facet number 2, from fence-sitter to a global helper. This was announced by Prime Minister Modi himself. He said India would be a Vishwa Bandhu, meaning a friend to the whole world.
दशकों तक भारत की नीति थी कि सारे देशों से समान दूरी बनाए रखो। आज के भारत की नीति है सारे देशों से समान रूप से नजदीकी बनाओ। हमें गर्व है कि आज दुनिया भारत को विश्व बंधु के रूप में सम्मान दे रही है।
Years ago, this used to be a criticism against Indian policy. It was called selfish and isolationist. New Delhi was accused of always sitting on the fence. It wasn't true then. It's certainly not true now. Under Prime Minister Modi, India has expanded its role on the global stage. We saw that during the pandemic. India shipped vaccines and essential medicines to 160 countries. In 2 years, India sent 300 million doses abroad. It's not what an isolationist or a fence-sitter does. Same in Ukraine. While the rest of the world picked sides, India did not. Prime Minister Modi has visited both Moscow and Kyiv. He has repeatedly called for dialogue and negotiations. In fact, India has also ferried messages between Russia and Ukraine. India's focus has been on ending the war. Again, that positions India as a global friend. In some ways, this second facet is a clarification of the first. Yes, Prime Minister Modi has put India first, but that doesn't mean the world comes last. If there is a crisis, India will help.
Next is facet number 3,
Flexing India's hard power capabilities. India's legacy is built around non-violence. It is one of the biggest militaries in the world, yet at times New Delhi has been reluctant to use it. Under Prime Minister Modi, that's not the case. He realizes that no foreign policy can only rely on diplomacy and soft power. Hard power is an established reality of our times, and therefore it must have a place in India's policy too. We have seen this thinking against Pakistan. Major terror attacks are not just met with a condemnation, they are met with a reprisal. The most recent example was Operation Sindoor. It was a bold yet calculated use of India's hard power. At the same time, it's not a U-turn from India's civilizational values. Like PM Modi himself said, it's not an era for war, but it's also not an era for terror.
निश्चित तौर पर ये युग युद्ध का नहीं है, लेकिन ये युग आतंकवाद का भी नहीं है.
And it's not just about operations, it's also about preparedness. Under Prime Minister Modi, India has modernized and indigenized its military. It is also upgrading border and military infrastructure. You could say, India is following the age-old adage, you may not want war, but you must prepare for it. Next is facet number 4, public participation in foreign policy. This is something new to Indian politics. Historically, foreign policy has mattered little in electoral politics. Pakistan and China mattered, but beyond that, most voters did not care. PM Modi has managed to change that. Today, foreign policy dominates Indian podcast conversations. It's routinely shared in family WhatsApp groups. Even Bollywood movies are cashing in on the hype. This has happened because of a concerted effort from the Prime Minister. As he said early on, he wants to take diplomacy out of Delhi, and it's worked. Think back to 2023, when India hosted the G20 summit. Every Indian felt included. Some 200 meetings were held in 60 Indian cities, and this is just one example. Prime Minister Modi hosted former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in Ahmedabad. He hosted Xi Jinping in Mahabalipuram. Just last week, he hosted the Mauritius Prime Minister in Varanasi. This tactic is not just about making citizens feel included, it's also about building consensus. Today, there is unanimity on India's position on the Ukraine war. Similarly, there is unanimous anger against Donald Trump over the tariffs, and when there is consensus at home, the government's job becomes easier. Which brings us to the last facet, personal diplomacy. Prime Minister Modi came to power with very little foreign policy experience. Many doubted whether he would be able to adapt. More than a decade later, I think the answer is clear. Not only has he adapted, he seems to enjoy it.
From the Melody team.
Prime Minister Modi has built personal equations with other world leaders, like the late Shinzo Abe of Japan, Vladimir Putin of Russia, Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, and even Donald Trump. Of course, personal chemistry alone do not shape bilateral relations, but they do make a difference. They can smooth out the differences. Further, Prime Minister Modi has used his appeal to add a new dimension to India's policy: the diaspora. Like we said, the Prime Minister fills stadiums. Whether it's in New York or Sydney or London, such events are a demonstration of the Indian diaspora's strength. At the same time, it's a tactic to woo foreign leaders. Think back to the Namaste Trump event, or the gathering at the Sydney Opera House. These are politicians, after all. They enjoy the adulation. When you make things personal, there is also a downside. You become vulnerable to attacks. Consider the row with the Maldives. In early 2024, PM Modi visited Lakshadweep, an Indian island near the Maldives. Maldivian politicians responded with hate. They launched racist attacks on the Indian PM. But he did not respond. Instead, he displayed remarkable restraint. In hindsight, it was the right call, because 2 years later, the Maldives has come around. Same with the US right now. Donald Trump's officials have made multiple unfair allegations, yet Prime Minister Modi has not responded directly. He has maintained the dignity of his office. He only responded when Trump sent positive signals to India. That's the sign of a mature world leader, and the world recognizes it. Today, geopolitics is increasingly volatile. Equations keep changing, leaders keep changing, and so do interests. In this chaos, Prime Minister Modi offers an alternative of stability, restraint, and predictability.